The second stop in the 2024 New South Wales Open Regional Qualifier Series took us to Coffs Harbour on the north coast of New South Wales. The time-honoured North Coast Open since 1953. The players that have their names etched on this trophy are some of the greatest ever in golf. Gary Player, Kel Nagle, and we had a one-shot lead of Victorian Andrew Kelly going into the final day. $50,000 purse, 3 spots up for grabs for those not already qualified to the New South Wales Open. And Brett Rankin staked a claim from the very first hole. He drained this from the deep on the par 3 first to equal the lead after Andrew Kelly found bogey. In fact, he was still a shot back from the lead. He equaled it with that birdie on the second. Matthias Sanchez, an early birdie on 3 meant that he had a share of the lead. And Andrew Kelly, after a disastrous start with that bogey on the first, needed this to re-establish himself equally at the top of the leaderboard. His first birdie of the day was crucial for him getting his round back underway. He butted that up with a birdie on 4 after that phenomenal tee shot. And just had to breathe on this putt to make sure it eased its way, breaking left to right. He equaled the lead again. Matthias Sanchez with this, calling Dr. Chapinski, and the doctor answered the call. Blake Proverbs, that was a birdie on 5. He had bogey 3 out of the first 4 holes, and he thought his day was dashed. Andrew Kelly got a one-shot lead with a birdie on 6 here. And this was the 5th birdie of the day on 13 for Blake Proverbs. And at this stage, he started to think, hang on a minute, I might just be a chance. There were some contenders coming from back in the pack. Kyle Michelle was one of those. This was on 17, his second shot, almost bouncing it up. And it runs past the hole, and he just nudged this back down to get an eagle and to be at 8 under with a hole to play. Brett Rankin had to be so patient. After birdieing the first 2 holes, he had to wait until the 14th to get his next after having so many near misses. Matthias Sanchez just found trouble, bogey 9, double bogey 10, but that put him back into the mix. And then Cameron John, this almost an inch away from sealing the victory, but the birdie putt to follow on 18 made it 5 birdies on the bounce. He was in the clubhouse with a one-shot lead at 9 under, and then he had the nervous wait to see them all come home. And come home they did. Fortune had to favour the brave. It meant they had to take it on and to make their move. And Brett Rankin, after being rock solid throughout the day with just 1 bogey, he had this for eagle and a share of the lead. He thought his day was dashed. Par after par, birdie chance gone begging after birdie chance. And on the last hole, every one of our 4 in the final group, including the overnight leader, Andrew Kelly, got at least birdie, and Brett Rankin got eagle, to mean that they were all in the mix standing on the tee box at 18. Blake Proverbs, what a turnaround it was. That was his birdie. Matthias Sanchez really did need an eagle on that gettable par 5 17th. And this was Brett Rankin, rock solid when everybody else faltered to find their way to a playoff with that man, Cameron John. The experience of the 37-year-old Queenslander shone through, not only to make that putt to force the playoff, but after they were both misfiring off the tee on 18, the first hole of the playoff, Rankin had this to run it up to the hole, mirror image putt to make the playoff, and then to win the playoff and put his name alongside Gary Player and Kel Nagle as winners of the North Coast Open. And more importantly, the $9,000 winner's check, and even more important than that, he got his ticket to Murray Downs November 14th for the 2024 New South Wales Open. $800,000 purse. Sam Slater and Dylan Thompson joined him in getting the other 2 tickets as we all get set to meet at Murray Downs. So just have a look at that leaderboard. One of the most thrilling finishes we've seen in these New South Wales Open regional qualifiers. Brett Rankin And Cameron John finished at 9 under. Brett Rankin winning it on the first hole of the playoff. Andrew Kelly will wonder what might have been. He had 4 birdie putts lip out on the back 9. Kyle Michelle did everything, but he will already be at Murray Downs. So too will Andrew Kelly. Blake Proverbs was sensational throughout the course of the day in recovering in the manner he did after that sketchy start. Matias Sanchez will already be at Murray Downs as well. He and Austin Bautista all finished in a tie for 5th at 7 under. Cass Rogan caught up with the 37-year-old Queenslander, the journeyman Brett Rankin, after his incredible win.
Thanks, Sam. Yes, I'm here with Brett Rankin, who, as you said, is now adding his name to this trophy for the North Coast Open. How are we feeling at the moment?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I didn't really think the wind was on for most of the day. I was always sort of 2 or 3 shots behind, and I think my patience was awesome today. And then made eagle on 17, and all of a sudden I'm tied for the lead, and I'm like, oh, maybe a win is on the cards. But it just shows sometimes if you've got good patience, and you know, sometimes the wind will come to you. So definitely didn't feel like I forced it out there today. I just sort of played golf, and I think I said to you yesterday, I'll just come out, play my game, and you know, if it's good enough, it's good enough. If it's not, it's not. And luckily today it was.
Yeah, how do you handle that roller coaster of emotions out there, especially when you've got so many players at the top, and you know, there's great guys that you were out there with?
I just kept focusing on what I was trying to do. I knew if I stayed patient, eventually I'd probably hole some putts and I'd make some birdies. It's not too often I go around without birdies, so yeah, it's just one shot at a time. I know it's the old cliche, but it really is. When you get to my age, you've been there, you've seen some stuff happen. You just sort of one shot at a time, keep the bogeys off the card, give yourself a chance at the end, and you never know what can happen.
And how does it make you feel, you know, bagging that win and heading into your next run of tournaments in the summer of golf? Oh,
absolutely. It's awesome for next week's PNG Open. I'm going to take a few days off now just to get rest up with the body and the mind. But one of the boys was saying Gary Player's on that trophy, so anytime your name's associated with Gary Player, it's pretty cool.
It's very special.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously teeing it up at the New South Wales Open in Murray Downs in November then. How are we feeling about that?
Just a building block, isn't it? So excited for the rest of the season. I feel like the game's pretty well rounded at the moment. I'm putting well, which has been something that's been missing the last couple of years. So yeah, I can't wait for the rest of the year.
Well, congratulations again. You certainly put in the hard yards over the past 2 days. But I will now hand over to Mark Dodd, the president of Coffs Harbour Golf Club, to give you your well-deserved trophy.
Congratulations, appreciate it. And I tell you, Gary Player is not the only player. I've got so many Australians.
So just let that sink in for a moment for Brett Rankin. He said it himself that when your name is associated with a 9-time major winner and one of the all-time greats in Gary Player of international golf, and then one of the greats of Australian golf in Cal Nagel, that is something to be truly proud of.